It began small. Miscellaneous fines. False infractions. Empty threats. Irritating, maybe, but something I could have ignored. Then one morning, everything shifted. 2 men on my driveway, badges blinking, voices unyielding, informing me I was being arrested. What they didn't realize? I'm a U.S. Marshal, and they just made a wrong move. Before I walk you through how this all played out, let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. And tell me, do you have a memory of one of those neighbors who just cooey and seemed to stop causing problems? Karen was that neighbor? She wasn't merely strict regarding rules, she lived for rules. And when there were not enough rules, she created new ones. I knew from the very first meeting that she'd be trouble. What I didn't know was how far she'd go to attempt to control me. It started with a letter. A white envelope with pretentious gold lettering, stamped Oak Ridge HOA inside. Dear homeowner, you must register your property and adhere to all guidelines. That was a good one. I had picked this house precisely because it wasn't in an Then I turned the page. A fine. $254 failure to maintain property aesthetics. I looked around. Nicely cut lawn. Cleaned driveway. My truck parked neatly. There was nothing amiss. Nevertheless, I crumpled a letter and continued about my day. But the letters continued. They piled up. Another fine. $100 for unauthorized exterior alterations. I hadn't altered anything. Another. $150 for noise disturbances. I worked at night and wasn't home most nights. Another $200 for failure to provide a landscaping plan. I didn't even know that existed. Within the week, my mailbox was full of violation notices. Karen wasn't enforcing rules, she was testing me, waiting to see if I'd fold, pay, and play along. I ignored all of them. Then she arrived. One day, I went out, and there she was in my driveway. Clipboard in hand, standing like she was the owner of the place. She didn't break eye contact when I caught her staring. She wanted me to see her staring. I approached her. Something you need. Karen. She smiled the way a predator smiled when being nice. Oh, good! I was hoping to catch you! I just wanted to personally remind you of your outstanding infractions. She extended a paper as if it were an arrest warrant. I barely looked at it. Karen, I'm not in your HOA. Her smile didn't waver. Oak Ridge Estates has certain standards for properties around us. It's only right that everyone pitches in. Fair, I laughed. Let me get one thing straight. I don't take orders from you! Stop cluttering up my mailbox, or I'll report harassment. For a moment, her facade cracked, her jaw clenched. The fingers of the clipboard tensed, and then she covered it up with a second phony smile. Well, I do hope you think about it. You wouldn't want to make things complicated. Is that a threat? I said. Oh, not at all. Just a friendly warning. That was all. She strode away, heels echoing down my driveway. I figured that was the end of it. I was mistaken. The next day, trash was dumped on my grass. A week after, my mailbox was overturned. Then the Snickers. Neighbors giving me sidelong glances, whispering when I walked by. At first, I thought I was dreaming, until Jim, a longtime local, caught me at the gas station. Hope you get things sorted out, he said. Sorted out, I replied. He groaned. Karen's been spreading around the word that you've got some legal issues. He even talked about a warrant. A warrant? That was a surprise! And sure enough, the next morning, it arrived. A letter marked final notice from the Oak Ridge HOA legal department. Inside, failure to comply will result in legal action. A warrant has been issued. I laughed out loud. I've signed real warrants. This was fake. No court, no judge, no case number, just one name at the bottom, Karen Whitmore, HOA president. She had officially lost her mind. She wasn't enforcing rules anymore. She was defrauding me. Then came the day when 2 men appeared in my driveway. Bargain uniforms, clipboards, plastic badges, Are you the homeowner? One of them asked. Who's asking? I said. We're with HOA, Enforcement Division. You have pending violations. We have an arrest warrant against you. I nearly laughed. A warrant? Huh, okay. Let's see it. The actual one. Issued by a court. They took a moment, stepped on their feet. That's when I produced my badge. An actual U.S. Marshal badge. Their faces blanched. You two just attempted to stop a federal officer, I said. Do you want to be charged with impersonating a police officer before or after I run your names? That did it! One of them dropped his clipboard. The other took off running down the street. Later, I did a search on their names. Not actual cops. Not even legally licensed security. Just Karen's little players in this scheme. And the more I dug, the worse it got. Karen wasn't just fabricating infractions. She was operating an extortion scheme. Bogus fines. Bogus liens. Bogus hearings. Families had really lost their homes to her scheme. She'd even enlisted a local judge who continued to rule in her favor without doing research. This was not HOA drama anymore. This was crime. So I teased her. I responded to one of her notices, acting afraid, willing to negotiate. Karen took the bait. She sent me a notice to an HOA arbitration hearing at a rented community center. I placed calls to local law enforcement, the district attorney, and the U.S. attorney. Fraud. Wire fraud. Mail fraud. Impersonating law enforcement. This wasn't civil, it was federal. When Friday arrived, I went into that hall. Karen sat at the head of the table, gavel in hand, board members next to her, two fearful homeowners opposite me. She began reciting infractions, bogus fines, lawyer jargon threats, breach of contract, and infractions. They seemed authoritative, but meant nothing. I relaxed back, grinning. Karen! Let me guess. Your bogus cops are going to walk in through that door. Her gaze flashed toward the door. She was delaying. Right on schedule, the doors exploded open, but it wasn't her phony cops. It was actual law enforcement. The assistant U.S. attorney moved forward with warrant in hand. Karen Whitmore, you are under arrest on charges of fraud, extortion, impersonating a law officer, and conspiracy. She blanched. She attempted to protest, screaming about miscommunications. But already, the board had retreated. Karen was cuffed and hauled from her own bogus courtroom amidst the watching neighbors and stunned silence. The backlash was immediate. Homeowners presented their tales of bogus liens, intimidation, even forced sales. The entire HOA board was examined. In 1 month, the HOA was dismantled. And Karen, she wasn't fined. She wasn't put on probation. She was imprisoned. Same woman who spent a decade threatening others with bogus authority got put in actual jail. And me, each time I drive by her old home, now merely another house for sale, I smile. She felt invincible. She never saw the actual law approaching. If you liked this story, like, subscribe, and tell me about your own HOA horror stories in the comments.